Watch my health. Shouldn't go down. Not going down. Still not going down. Still not going down. It would be the final piece of the puzzle, I guess. But it'll take me ages to find it though. Just to see how the damage is. Baboons as well. It's the boss. See how it does. Sent me very far there. Very close. To full burst focus as well. That's max focus for me, I think. Some stakes on. the main difference with this really is at the top left, and I've got 193 health. So it's a bit less than the build video I did a few weeks ago now. But the big thing is that blue bar, and that blue bar is barrier. So this is now basically, it's got more damage than the other version by a bit, but it's also got 4 times the survivability now. So that barrier looks like it's 401 because it's full, right? But it's not, it's higher than that. You'll notice sometimes I get hit in the video where I get hit and the blue bar doesn't go down. That's because the bar here doesn't show the full amount of the bar. And I'll work out the full amount, but I think my barrier is around about 700, 600, 700 at least, possibly 800 when I've got everything stacked up, and I'll go through it in a bit. But that's the big thing here. Barrier with this is very, very strong. There's a few ways to generate it consistently, and I'll talk through that now. This weapon's different, so it's different to the last one. I've worked on a new one. With all the new embers, I'll talk about in a separate video, but the new embers have made it a lot easier to make a god build. So this build now is pretty much almost perfect. I need to boost some of the stats a bit, which I can do with some of the new embers, which I don't have any on me right now, because I've used some of them. Yeah, these gauntlets, the main difference, I've got the damage on, I've got the crit damage on, but the main difference is that bottom one. 43% barrier on kill. Which is crazy, right? 43% of my health is, what, just under 200 barrier. But with me running low health, that doubles. So I actually get 86% barrier on kill. Which is crazy, right? Well, actually, no, it gets even more crazy. Because I also have 49% barrier gain, which turns to 98%. So I actually get double of 86, 160% barrier on kill. That's mad. So that's one of the best, that's why when I'm running through the Crucible, like, nothing can touch me. I can kill stuff instantly, I'm just constantly getting, like, what's that? 400 minimum barrier, obviously, because I've got 400 health. But like I said, I believe the cap is not, it's just a visual thing, it actually goes above that, because I get hit, my barrier doesn't go down, because I'm getting to 600, 700 health. So it's crazy. Now, when you think about that, I was thinking, what about bosses though? Because on bosses you can't just kill the boss and get barrier, right? So this is where the other stuff comes in, which took a bit of time to get working. So one thing you can do is barrier on consuming food. So I run berries, I run apples, and you can top your barrier up with that. The crazy thing is, you can have this barrier trigger for 160%, and you can stack it with this one as well here. So I get 32% barrier on eating, but that gets doubled through the chest. So 60% barrier. Over 60%. So we're already at about 220% barrier already. Now you might think, consuming food, you can only do it 10 times during a boss fight, so it's nice to top up, but you don't want to always be doing it. Then there's another way to stack more barrier, and that's on dodge. So you'll notice, if you watch the video back, watch the Echo Knight, I dodge and get barrier from dodging attacks, which with this build is really easy to do. Now what do I get for that? I get 14% barrier. Times by 2, that's 28%. Times by 2 again with this chest, 56% barrier. So I get more than half. I get a 200 plus barrier every time I dodge. So for bosses, these two are really, really good because you're constantly going to be at full barrier if you combine them both, right? That means you can stack this as well. So you can get the 160 here, the 60 here, and the 56 here, right? So you're looking close to like 270, 280% barrier. Which is crazy, because that says to me you can probably get to like 800, 900 barrier here with this build, because it's based on your full health, not the missing health. So I'm on low life, right? I'm capped at my low life, just like the other builds. So these gloves, 15% max life reduced times 2. That's 30% of my max life I cannot get. Add that with this ring, 53% of my life is missing constantly. That's why I'm at 193, but that's intentional. That allows me to get these black pearls permanently. So yes, I've got 193 health, but does it matter when I've got a 700 barrier? That constantly refreshes when I kill stuff, when I heal, when I dodge. Doesn't matter. So in many ways, I could respect these stats a bit more if I wanted to. I could take a bit more out of health, go down to 350 health. Probably the smart thing to do, really, you know. But I just did that no boon run there, first time, easily. No boon run on the Echo Knight easily. There's no other build that I've done that has done it that easily yet, a no boon run. And I don't know if there's many others that'll do it as good as this. I think mages might be able to because of the sheer damage they do. I know the devs have nerfed the damage of mages, but still do wonder. I mean, this is super quick when you get the speed boost. It works the same way. One other change, I also have Voltaic. So the reason I've got this on the left here, you'll see the item facet, is I found that sometimes running around trying to use the focus with the enchantment was a bit frustrating. It's better to just have it permanently. So I'm permanently lightning, every time I go in, instantly shock something, and it procs the overall speed here. So I get 38% overall speed boost every time I shock something, same as the last build. But those are the main changes. If you can get permanent lightning, it's a really nice quality of life boost. It saves you a lot on focus, you can use more rune attacks. I've added a few different rune attacks. There is one rune that I want to get, which adds like an AoE effect, but farming for that still. But the best runes, I'd say Break Rush for bosses is really good burst damage, but only use it on bosses, same as I said before. Cyclone Kick's pretty good as well, because it's only 50. And Dragonfly Kick is quite rare. I just had it drop randomly, it's pretty cool. It does like a flying kick in the air, so this is the new one that I got here. So it's a good single target, cheap attack as well. In terms of the other stuff, pretty similar to the other build, but I've got max health here instead of health regen. So I get 22% of my focus as max health, which is a nice little boost. So what's 22% of my max health? 40 of my focus is 40. So I get a bonus 40 health, which is halved obviously because of the max life reductions. And outside of that, yeah, you're still seeing a really good crit chance. What's that? I've got 9% there, so that's 18%. 18 plus 24 is 52, is it? That's 42. Then plus by 24, 66%. Then plus by 10 there, 76%. So 76% crit chance. I'll just hover over the gear in case you want to screenshot it or whatever, but that's the weapon, crit chance, armor pen as well. I get 44% there. And on the gloves I get 44%. So I've got 88% armor penetration, which is crazy. And then, yeah, obviously the barrier again here is really good. Max focus reduced is fine. I don't need that, so it's a decent one for me to get. And stamina recovery is nice to get as well. So I actually replaced one of the rings as well, so I've got overall speed. The reason I did that is because I've got recovery now. So I get 40% recovery boost, which puts me on 48 stamina recovery. So look how quick it recovers now. Really quick. So I don't need to have the cost reduction as much now. And then what I did is boosted my stats a bit, so just quickly go over the stats. A bit less in health, obviously. I might even take more out. You could drop it to 35 points. Really. Put a bit more into stamina if you're going to do the ring swap. And then damage, you could put more into damage if you wanted to as well, but again, you don't really need to. The damage is insane. Focus, I've just boosted it a bit because of my max focus reduction, so there is a bit more there. And I do have an extra point in because the item weight is increased on this. However, I think one of my other pieces that I've swapped out had it as well. And I can now I can actually drop a point out of this, I think now. That looks to me like I can drop 1 or 2 points here. So I do need to respec a bit, but yeah. If you've got 300 health, your barrier is going to be insane. So you could, I think 350 health is the safe point. If you can get to 90 stamina, that'd be great as well, but... yeah, and the scary thing is there's more buffs to come for this. I can get this ring at 21% max health now. And get the 20% lifesteal boost just by boosting it. This is capped to max. This can get extra couple of stats here as well, just by using the blue version of the red ember. I can't remember what it's called, Radiant I think. So more stats to get there, but nothing crazy, just a few extra percent here and there. I did healing to the glove, but add whatever you want in the 4th slot, that's fine. But yeah, those are the main changes. And obviously, as you saw there, I got this ring at the end of that Crucible run, which is busted. The 3 rings that still need to be removed or changed are this one, which you can swap your health and your focus, which combines really well with this. Because, you know, you could do a build basically where you just spec into focus, swap your health out, You've got insane barrier, so that's your health. And then you've got 1,000, you could definitely get to 1,000 health and just spam rune attacks with lifesteal and have infinite rune attacks. That's why these rings need to go, I think. What I would do is add the AoE fire pulse effect onto this ring from the Crucible. It's really cool. And add something here like, I don't know, armor penetration. Stacks. So every time you do a hit, every 10 seconds you get a stack of something that gives you armor pen, right? Just something like that, or I don't know, some sort of elemental effects. But I think they need to be careful with the focus stuff. But I really hope they remove these. But anyway, I just wanted to add that on because that's the one thing they've still not addressed, and I hope they do address the rings of power, I guess you could call them. But yeah, that's about it. Barrier is broken. Combine it with this build, and you'll be pretty unkillable. So. Super fun build, and it's not too hard to put together. You need the, not this one, but there's another one. I think it's called Essence Ember. That's what you need. Essence Embers are the best item in the game now to make this build, and it's way too easy. I think it's a mistake allowing us to do infinite Ember use on gear. I put these gloves together just by getting loads of random items, taking the stat off, slotting it in, full max roll gear, and just exalted it. And there we go. Perfect roll set of gear, right? So, I think for the Essence Embers, hopefully they limit it so you can only do it once per gear. But I'm going to do a separate video on that. Anyway, I wanted to mention it. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed the patch so far. And yeah, get this build, you're going to be having a great time because it's unkillable, it's fast, got everything you need. So yeah, hope you enjoy it if you do it.